Hello everybody, welcome to my latest video on the Riftbreaker. This is going to be focusing on the latest update for console, which is the version 2.0 update. And before we get into what has been added, I'm going to talk about what hasn't. And that is one of the major features of the 2.0 update for PC, which is co-op. So if you're expecting co-op to come to the Riftbreaker on console, unfortunately you are going to be sorely disappointed. So let's get further into that before we go into what has actually changed. The developers have come out and said that unfortunately, although they have tried and tried and tried, they cannot get co-op working on console. The reason they have given is technical limitations with both PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series hardware. I'm going to attempt to explain it as I understand it. Now, I'm not a computer science person. I have built my own PCs in the past, but I'm definitely not an expert. But from what has been said, I understand that the game to run co-op needs a bare minimum of 8 GB of RAM. Now, although the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X both list 16 GB of RAM, that is shared with the graphics card. And because it is not dedicated 8 GB, they cannot get the co-op to recognise the minimum requirement for the system. So, in some cases, it may be that the graphics section, the graphics portion, uses 9 GB of memory, which means there's only 7 GB left for RAM. That is causing a problem with the co-op. It's causing extreme stutter, slowdown, whatever else. Now that's my belief, that's my interpretation of what they've said. All that they have physically said is that because it's not dedicated RAM, they cannot get the system to work. So my interpretation is the stuttering, etc. If any of the developers do watch this, then please do clarify what the problem is if you feel like you want to. Anyone who's interested in following what's going on with development of the game, etc., please do make sure you do follow the Riftbreaker Discord, because they are quite active there talking about what they're doing, what's coming up, and how any updates are going. So, with that real disappointment out of the way, and to be honest, I have to say, it may affect how much I play this game in the future, because although I absolutely love it, I do like my co-op games. I am hoping they port it though, so if the developers are there, if you do feel like porting this to the next generation consoles when they come out, please do so, because I am sure they will have 8 GB of RAM available. But there we go, that's just a plea for the future. So what actually has changed? Now, the majority of the changes are under the hood. That's a very American term, but basically they are behind the scenes and you're not necessarily going to notice them too much. The major one for that is just the whole game is now more streamlined. In that, I mean, it definitely runs smoother. So they've managed to iron out some of those really annoying slowdown bugs that you get when medium-sized hordes approach your base. Now, if you've got a map-filling base and you get a major wave, you are still going to get slowdown. Do not think that this game is going to run buttery 60 frames per second at all times. It won't do. And that's primarily because the developers have managed to cram thousands of creatures, plus hundreds of turrets, plus destructible foliage and buildings, plus particles in the sky, wind swaying and explosion swaying foliage as well, all into a relatively small game. So you are going to have some technical issues with this game. That does not detract from the fun though, in my opinion. So do consider that. So beside those, we have an expanded skill tree. As you can see, it's absolutely huge now. Lots of new things to learn, so even my finished character that had basically maxed out the whole skill tree has now got a load of new things to learn. that allows you to craft new buildings, it allows you to craft new weapons, armors, add-ons, all of those sorts of things. There are new enemies to fight, there's new flora to find as well, new resources, but the biggest thing for me is the fact that now you do not have to craft all of your items because items can drop. So you can now find weapons that fall on the floor during fights, and I think that is, well, all I can say is I think that is a long time coming. A game like this where there was no actual loot dropping was quite jarring initially, and I'm glad it has been fixed. Now there are, as I say, some new flora and fauna added to the game. One of the things they are adding is, I believe it's a new story. I'm not 100% sure because I've only just started it in effect, but this whole pinking of the screen that you can see here, this is my end game playthrough, and basically these spores fly overhead and you go to the crash site and you find it's mutated some areas, and Bob's your uncle. That's basically start of new storyline that I can see. They have had 3 of those so far. So you've had Metal Terror, you've had I can't remember what it's called, but basically the cave system and the swamp system. So they are continuing to expand it, and I guess we can look out for the future. But I'm going to leave it there because that's basically it. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you click the like button, subscribe if you're new here, and I look forward to seeing you for my next video very soon. You all take care. Bye for now.